out, Israel has just recorded its lowest COVID data in weeks. The Ministry of Health updated Sunday that 10,354 new COVID patients were diagnosed over the previous day, the lowest daily verified number recorded since the beginning of 2022. There are currently 138,824 active COVID patients in Israel, of whom 1,848 are hospitalized throughout the country. The number of patients hospitalized in critical condition has risen in the last day to 832. The same time, 7 more COVID patients died from the complications of the virus, bringing the total death toll to 9,841 since the onset of the pandemic. And this not too cautious optimism is enough for the Israeli premier to be focusing on the achievements in battling the Omicron wave, announcing further easing of restrictions.
Thanks to our policy of an open Israel, of reforms and easing regulations, we achieved 8% growth, and this together with 2 waves of coronavirus, without lockdowns, across-the-board restrictions, mass dismissals, or the closing of businesses. Now, life is getting back on track.
In Sunday's coronavirus cabinet, it was decided that foreign tourists of all ages, vaccinated and unvaccinated, will be allowed to enter Israel, subject to performing 2 PCR tests. Israelis who want to return to the country will not be required to perform an antigen test before boarding the plane. Instead, they will have to undergo a PCR test upon landing in Israel. It was also decided to completely abolish the isolation obligation on unvaccinated Israelis, subject to a negative PCR test result at the Ben Gurion Airport. All of this starting March 1st, the same date the Green Pass outline is set to expire. In the education system, the weekly test outline is next, as early as this coming Thursday. Despite the well-heard reservations of health officials, the premier is seeking to lift more restrictions in the near future in what could be seen as the swan song of the 5th wave, a route or not to the 6th.